Buenas tardes, soy José M. López Sierra para Compañeros Unidos para la Descolonización de Puerto Rico e Información al Desnudo de Nueva York. Y estoy hoy aquí en Cayey para hablar sobre Boricuas contra la invasión USA. ¿Sabía usted que ya para la invasión de julio 25 de 1898, Puerto Rico ya tenía gobierno propio a través de la Carta Autonómica con España? También esa autonomía era mucho más superior a la que en el 1952 a través del Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico se nos concedió. ¿Sabía usted que el gobierno de Estados Unidos nos espetó en 1917 su ciudadanía de Estados Unidos? La Asamblea de Delegados de Puerto Rico rechazó la oferta de los Estados Unidos de darnos su ciudadanía del gobierno de Estados Unidos. Todo esto ha sido por resultado de una invasión el 25 de julio de 1898. Y Boricuas contra la invasión USA, estamos invitando a todo el mundo que esté en contra de esa invasión que nos acompañe el miércoles 25 de julio a las 12 del mediodía al lado de la piedra de la invasión en Guanica. Esperamos a ver a todo el mundo sin divisiones, porque todas estas divisiones que tenemos en Puerto Rico entre nosotros los puertorriqueños, los boricuas, es para el beneficio del gobierno de Estados Unidos para mantenernos divididos. Sí tenemos que hablar y ponernos de acuerdo de muchas cosas, pero eso sería después que nosotros tengamos nuestra soberanía. Pues ya sabes que el miércoles 25 de julio a las 12 del mediodía en la piedra de Guanica estamos esperando a todos los boricuas, todos los puertorriqueños que estén en contra de la invasión el 25 de julio de 1898. Porque el gobierno que invadió a Puerto Rico en el 1898 para convertirnos en esclavos no cree en la libertad ni en la justicia para todos. Soy José M. López Sierra para Compañeros Unidos para la Descolonización de Puerto Rico e Información al Desnudo de Nueva York. Muchas gracias. This is José M. López Sierra, and right now I'm in Cayey, and it's a beautiful day, and I like to talk about Puerto Rico and the fact that Puerto Rico has been a colony of the United States for 120 years. Most of you have been educated under colonialism, if you're Puerto Rican anyway, either here in Puerto Rico or in the United States or some other place. And you're taught that Puerto Rico is a small little island and that it can't be independent because it's too small and it's never going to work out. But if you look at the map and you see where Puerto Rico is located, and that's why you have that background. This is Cayey, and this is in the mountain area, country area, and you see that Puerto Rico is in a very special location in the world, and you see that it's almost like, if you compare it to New York City, you know, it's like being in Midtown Manhattan. I call Puerto Rico being in the Midtown Manhattan section of the world is ideal. You have sunshine, you have rain, you have everything anyone could ever need to live a nice, healthy, happy life. But it hasn't been that way for 120 years. And before that, it wasn't that way either, because we were a colony of Spain for 405 years. So we've been a colony of either Spain or the United States for a long time, for almost over 500 years, I think 525 years to be exact. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's been an artificial turmoil. It's been an artificial chaos, but manufactured by either Spain or the United States. There is no reason why, with Puerto Rico being located where it is, with all the sun, with all the rain, with all this paradise, why Puerto Rico can't be a nation on its own, and trying to bring back over 5 million Puerto Ricans, Boricuas, that have left because Puerto Rico is not governed for the Puerto Ricans. And I mention all that because there's a lot of talk about Puerto Rico owing $54 billion. And there are many people that believe that. They believe that Puerto Rico owes that amount of money. But that's because people are falling into the brainwashing of the United States government. How is it possible, if Puerto Rico has been a colony since 1898 of the United States, how is it possible that Puerto Rico can owe anything when the United States has, on the contrary, exploited Puerto Rico for 120 years? You're talking about using Puerto Rico as a military installation. So you're talking about having like a big aircraft carrier here where Puerto Rico is located for the benefit of the United States. And Puerto Ricans owe money to whom? To the United States? To the banks? You know, think about that. How is it possible for you to have a slave that's working for you, and then suddenly you say that that slave owes you money? I mean, think about it. The only people that can make sense to would be someone whose mind isn't working properly. Some people call it indoctrination. Well, that's a good word. Some people call it that they've been brainwashed. Well, that's a good word. Certainly, their minds are not working properly, because it is impossible, if you accept the fact that Puerto Rico has been a U.S. colony since 1898. So the reason why I'm saying all this, and the reason why I'm in Cayey and talking to you, is because in Puerto Rico, on the anniversary of the invasion of Puerto Rico by the United States government on the 25th of July, 1898, right in Guanica, we have an activity starting at 12 o'clock for Puerto Ricans or Boricuas who are against the U.S. invasion of Puerto Rico 120 years ago. So please join us on Wednesday, July 25th, 2018, this year, in Guanica, where there's a big rock that has the date of the invasion. We're going to be there, and we're going to be denouncing the U.S. invasion. And we're also going to be calling for the United States government to comply with the United Nations Charter. A lot of people don't know this, but the United States is in violation to the United Nations Charter. Back in 1945, when they founded the United Nations, of course they have a charter. And the charter makes it illegal for any country to have another country as a colony. And the United States, since the very beginning of the United Nations, they have been violating that, and nobody talks about it. The New York Times does not talk about it. The New York Daily News doesn't talk about it. The New York Post. I'm naming these particular media because they're in New York City. 60 Minutes, they don't want to make a feature story on this. And then, if that were not enough, you have 37 United Nations resolutions that the United States government is violating. And what do they say? What do these resolutions say? Well, to put it very simply, I mean, you can look them up at the United Nations website. But to make it nice and simple, they are asking the United States government to immediately return Puerto Rico's sovereignty to the Puerto Rican. Look how simple it is. If you acknowledge that the UN, what it's saying is that it is illegal for any nation to have a colony. So you're talking about reversing that. And that's what they're saying in those 37 UN resolutions. Many people don't even know that in 1953, the United States government went to the UN and told the UN that they should remove Puerto Rico from the list of colonies because in 1952, the year before they make this petition to the UN, they said that Puerto Rico had attained self-government through the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, el Estado Libre Asociado. But as we all know, in 2018, that the sovereignty of Puerto Rico is not with the Puerto Rican people or with Puerto Rico. It's in Washington, D.C. So to show you that the UN is not doing its job, is not looking to make nations or do everything that it can to have nations comply with international law, they have not returned Puerto Rico on that list, knowing that they have 37 UN resolutions calling for the United States to return Puerto Rico's sovereignty. They, on their own initiative, because they're there to do a job, they have not returned Puerto Rico to their own list. They don't need the United States permission to do so. They don't need that. They just have to do the right thing. So anyway, being that they're not doing the right thing, and being that we want to force not only the United States to do the right thing, but also the UN in Puerto Rico on the 25th of July, on the very day that in 1898 the United States government invaded Puerto Rico, we're going to be there. We're asking you to be there and call people who you know that are in Puerto Rico to meet us there at 12 o'clock in Guanica, next to the rock. This is José M. López Sierra for Compañeros Unidos para la Descolonización de Puerto Rico, or United Comrades for Puerto Rico Decolonization, and Naked Information, or Información a Desnudo of New York City. Thank you for listening, and we will see you there on Wednesday. Thank you. From Cayey.